Hello girls! We receive frequent requests to create Barbie-style designs. So in today's video, we'll be crafting this design. My name is Anna, and let's get started. While I work on removing and preparing the nails for a new coating, let's talk about trends. I'm sure you've noticed how quickly trends change. This peak trend lasts for maybe a month or two, and then a new one takes its place. Not long ago, there was a trend for animal prints, then 3D roses, voluminous designs. There was also a trend with metallic elements, and now we have the Barbie trend. It's all changing so rapidly. Honestly, sometimes I feel like I can't always keep up and buy new materials that would match these trendy waves. Either I'm too slow to catch on, or the world is moving incredibly fast and imposing new rules of the game. But on the other hand, it's fun, I even like it. And I'm probably not the only one who thinks that these so-called new trends are actually echoes of ideas that have been around for a while, now presented to us in a more modern and sophisticated package. Let's step a bit outside of manicure and take a look at fashion trends in clothing. All this clothing inspired by the 60s style is now being presented in a more modern and fresh execution. The same dresses with small floral patterns and polka dots, but now in contemporary and appealing designs. In this way, history repeats itself, but with a more refined and tempting taste. As they say, everything new is well forgotten old. Here, I've already done a combination manicure and I'm going to cut the cuticles. Many girls ask as a beginner, I can't decide what's better to use for cutting cuticles. I won't tell you what's better or worse. I'll share my experience and what I've come to realize. When I first started my journey in the nail industry, there weren't as many advanced courses available as there are now. I took a basic beginner's course with those little soaking bowls, and no one mentioned what to pay attention to, what scissors or nippers to choose. Maybe it was the nature of those courses, or maybe I ended up with such an instructor, I don't know. But then I learned from my mistakes. My first pair of scissors were simply terrible, to be honest. Not only were the blades thick and couldn't cut cuticles properly, but they also couldn't hold an edge at all. I felt like they were impossible to sharpen. So I switched to nippers. I bought them from a professional store, but due to my lack of knowledge in the sellers, I faced the same issue again. Then I continued learning, and I bought my first tweezers. Oh my, everything worked out perfectly, but they weren't comfortable to hold. Since then, I've switched to Stolic scissors, and they're my lifelong love. So there's no magical advice here. You have to try everything to know for sure what's comfortable and works best for you and what doesn't. Meanwhile, I'm applying a base coat of rubber base. as I'll be strengthening and leveling with a solid material. My favorite Milky Polygel from Oxy. You've probably noticed that this gel often appears in my videos, in the same shade, and some of you even started asking me why I always use the same gel. Well, firstly, it has proven itself well in terms of durability. It has a very convenient consistency. But why specifically Milky? It's simple. With Milky Gel, I can see how much gel I'm using and where it's placed, and that's very convenient. Secondly, it's a constant favorite, and you can apply this gel as both a finished covering and a color at the same time. The third advantage of Milky Gels is that any colors lay beautifully and uniformly over the Milky shade. And if we talk about neon colors, they work exceptionally well on Milky Gel. They apply perfectly in just one layer. So I apply the gel all over the nail and place a small drop near the cuticle, then spread it evenly across the entire nail. And of course, don't forget to turn your finger to achieve a beautiful and proper nail architecture. How long to cure the gel? Well, honestly, it varies among individuals, but 1 minute is a definite minimum. Since gel is a solid material, it needs a longer curing time. If it's a pigmented or camouflage gel, then definitely 1.5 minutes. Otherwise, there might be issues with the gel not fully curing, which could lead to severe allergies for the client. Well, let's get started with the designs. I'll have designs on each finger, but I'll only need 3 colors, pink and white from Luna and a pink glittery base from Valerie. I chose Luna colors because they are the best pigmented and they have an oil-like consistency. They cover in just one layer and cure perfectly. As for white, it's my favorite, and I couldn't find a more perfect white, especially for French manicures. I apply the pink and white colors onto my palette and start mixing them to create a lighter pink than what's in the bottle. I'll use this for the French smile line. On my thumb, I apply the main pink color and you can see how smoothly it goes on. And yes, it cures in just 1 minute. I used to really love nail colors from Opium as they were highly pigmented, but they took longer to cure. Then I started using colors from Valerie, and they worked great too. But not all colors could be applied in a single layer, and some took over a minute to cure. But when Luna introduced their nail colors, I tried them, and it's just love. They speed up the work, and their colors are vibrant. Here, I am already drawing the French smile line with the color I mixed on the palette. And on the next nail, I'll do the opposite. You might be wondering why not just take different shades of pink. Let me share my trick and explain why I often do it this way. When I have a nail color and I want a slightly lighter shade, I add white instead of searching for a second bottle. The key here is in the color tones. If you just take a slightly lighter shade from a different bottle, it might not match the color background and the shade could appear warmer or cooler. But with my method, the tone remains the same and I get the exact shade I want. So feel free to use this handy trick. When the thought crossed my mind to make a video about this trend, I already knew that my hands had to be the ones to showcase it. Even though I'm not a fan of such designs and find it difficult to accept my hands with bright colors and patterns. Once I finished and looked at my nails, I surprisingly liked it. Maybe it's the sun and the heat that played a role. Usually I opt for something calm and delicate, but suddenly I found myself liking this bold pink. Do you also experience such variable moods? By the way, someone asked how to apply color close to the cuticle without causing any smudging. I have a detailed video about it, but here I'll remind you of the key points for achieving a clean application near the cuticle. The first factor that significantly affects the evenness of the application is our manicure. Some professionals don't consider properly pushing back the cuticles or are simply afraid to do so, especially among beginners. This step is crucial because we need a clean and smooth surface for filing and further cuticle work, which leads us to the next important step. If you've perfectly removed the cuticle but left the pterygium, the thin layer of skin near the cuticle, you won't achieve a seamless application. Conversely, if you've cleaned the pterygium but the cuticle isn't evenly removed, the same issue arises. Another secret that aids in achieving a deep application is removing the sticky layer. This prevents material conflicts and minimizes the chances of colors bleeding along the sticky layer. Lastly, equip yourself with a trusty ally, a fine brush. It assists in precise application, especially under the cuticle where using a brush straight from the bottle might not be as convenient or accurate. This will make the process easier and faster for you. Now, let's gradually move on to the third finger where I'll be painting hearts alternating the colors from the previous two fingers. At this point, I think you should simply observe. Remember to cure your nails between layers to prevent colors from blending together. And yes, in real life, it's slightly more challenging than on camera, so if you notice any imperfections, please forgive me. For the fourth finger, I'll start by fully covering it with the main color and then curing it. Here, I'll create gradient hearts. On my palette, I'll gradually mix white into the main color. This reminds me of the design we did with 3D roses, where we also blended a gradient with the main color. Let's see how it turns out this time. I feel like creating a more pink design is impossible. All shades of pink have come together here. So yes, for the next 3 weeks, I'll be feeling like a doll with all this pink. For the final finger, I covered it with the light pink color that remained on the palette, and I created a stretch effect using the base with glitter. It turned out very delicate. Yes, this is definitely a manicure fit for Barbie. Now, let's apply the top coat to seal the nails. I'm using a top coat from Edlin, without a sticky layer and without filters. For vibrant colors like these, I always apply a top coat without filters, as they can appear bluish in the sunlight. The same goes for black. I cure the top coat for at least 1.5 minutes to ensure its longevity and glossy finish. After curing, I'll file the shape a bit more. I give the top coat some time to cool down, and then apply cuticle oil. If you apply cuticle oil immediately after curing, the top coat can become cloudy, which often happens. So here's what we've achieved. Please share your thoughts in the comments section. Let me know what you'd add to this design, and whether you like the pink style overall. I can confidently say this is a color and design that suits Barbie perfectly. It looks fantastic on the nails. Now I feel like a doll. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel to stay updated on all the latest news. This has been Anna, and until our next meeting.